I'm a music producer who's been using Ableton Live, my current DAW, since day one, and it is so hardwired into my brain that the last time I tried to switch to another software, it didn't go so well. For me, out of 10, Logic gets a 3 out of 10. But today, I'm having another crack, because I've been really inspired by Avicii recently, and it awoke this really interesting desire in me to click around in the same piano roll that he did, and to use that weird cylinder-looking reverb. So over the next few days, I'm going to be switching to his music production software, FL Studio, to see whether it can help me become him. And I know I'm going to piss off a lot of producers when I say this, but FL just seems a lot less serious than all the other ones. I mean, it's given us all the memes of people speedrunning music, and it's literally called FL Studio because the creators wanted to call it Fruity Loops, and the cereal brand was like, hey, you can't do that. So I'm hoping that unlike last time, this will be a fun little adventure. Let's get started. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. More on them later. Alright, try FL Studio for as long as you want. Doesn't sound like it though. Now I wasn't about to buy FL Studio just for this silly little video, so instead I decided to use the trial mode, which apparently has all the features of the full version, you just can't save your projects. But that shouldn't be a problem, should it? This feels so crazy. Why are there ads? What the fuck is this? Okay, not gonna lie. I was very excited for these little different pointers. I would always see them. A little paintbrush. Ooh, a little finger. So after the initial excitement of setting up FL Studio, it started to dawn on me how different it feels. Wait, can I not resize the window? What the hell? There are 2 windows? This is a separate window? Wait, what is going on? Double click on window toolbar. Oh, I don't think I've used a single application that does that. I can minimize within FL. That's kind of neat. Okay, what is pattern? I don't know. Right click deletes. That's kind of fun. I wonder if I can make a MIDI clip. Do that. Do I have to use the sequencer? Whoa. Feels like I'm selecting a character in a video game. This is kind of cool. Audio clip's a thing. So if I say wanted an audio clip, what? You drag it around like that. Okay, I'm getting a bit off track. I want to make something. Once I was done just playing around, I started to realize that there was a little bit more setup than I'm used to. Where are my plugins though?
The first thing you need to do is scan and enable your plugins.
Oh, this is going to take a while. So I don't know what any of these are. Delete. So, all right. Why can't I do MIDI? Do I have to set up MIDI? Really? Enable. Don't know why I needed to do that, but we're here. Okay, I'm setting myself a timer because this is just taking forever. Surely in 30 minutes, I can get a track actually working. After making a quick sound on Serum 2 and then accidentally recording in some notes, I didn't know how to delete them. How do I? Command delete? Option delete? Shift delete? And then these even more problematic notes appeared. It's clearly on some other layer, isn't it? Why can't I delete these notes? You know what? I'm just done pressing delete. Very cool. FL keys. Let's open the MIDI. What? They're still here. This is the point at which it started to actually sink in that I actually have no idea how this program works. Even if I wasn't going to be able to learn this program in one session, I figured that if I was able to figure out how to record in a loop, then I could jam out on a piano and at least make something. There's my loop. So, we're looping now, right? Okay, I think I should be able to record now. So if I press play here, it essentially should be recording in what I play, right? Why did it stop recording? Get my loop, and I record. Surely in 30 minutes, I can get a track actually working. After that didn't work, I basically just wrote something on the piano so that this session didn't feel like a complete and utter failure. And to be fair, once I got into the piano roll, it was a lot more fun than the rest of the software. Oh my god, that's really useful. In Ableton, it doesn't do that. But I quickly realized that I was completely wasting my time. Even if I wrote something really cool on the piano, I wasn't going to be able to do anything with it. Where is this? I don't even know where this is. And with that, The most painful first session of all time came to an end.
Okay, I'm losing my mind here. Alright. I think I'm discovering that the underlying logic of FL Studio is just so different to what I'm used to that even if I learn how to do all the things that I need to do in the moment, it doesn't make sense. Like, I had this idea, but I can't take it anywhere. I guess it's time to actually try and learn FL from the ground up.
So that's exactly what I did, and I did it using a few bits and bobs on YouTube, but more importantly, because I needed to learn all of this FL stuff from the ground up, I did it using a class at today's video sponsor, Skillshare. One of the biggest things that just did not make sense to me as an Ableton user here was where MIDI goes when you make it, because in Ableton, if it's not on the timeline or in the session view, it just doesn't exist. But turns out in FL, there's this bank of patterns that don't have to be in the timeline, so when the teacher of the class started talking about them, like immediately, it became pretty clear that this was like a fundamental part of FL that I needed to wrap my head around.
Okay, it's this stuff that's the most confusing. So I was having a lot of trouble with this whole pattern thing. I don't know if you get to see that, patterns. And immediately this dude is talking about like creating a drum loop in the sequencer and then calling it a pattern and naming it and dragging it in somewhere. I think that's a key to unlocking like how this program actually works. Maybe.
And as I worked through more of the modules, I started to realize a lot of the other stuff which is very FL coded, but I just didn't intuitively use in that first session.
It seems like the step sequencer is a huge part of FL, but I don't know how much I want to actually use that because I don't love step sequencers typically in my workflows. So it's kind of a question of whether I want to do it the way FL wants it or the way I want it.
So it was really useful to learn from a producer who clearly knows FL inside and out, and Skillshare's full of those sorts of people. There are heaps of world-class creatives who are just really good at their craft, not just in music, but like film, illustration, graphic design, and they're actually running a really special offer just for the month of November, which is pretty much up at this point. You've got a couple days. They definitely wanted me to do this earlier. The first 500 people to use my link in the description or scan the QR code will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare and 20% off their first year. Get started today. Thank you, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video. Now it's time to put my newfound FL Studio mastery into action.
I think I'm ready to cook. I think I'm actually ready to cook today. I know that's a very dangerous thing to say based on how the first session went, but I feel like I'm ready to cook here.
After having actually watched some stuff, I was feeling pretty confident. And turns out a lot of the stuff which I was struggling with in the first session were actually pretty easy fixes.
I finally figured out how to record in a loop. It's this button. Function delete, bitch. I'm a power user, bro.
And unlike the previous session, I actually had an idea of what I wanted to make today. A kind of jazzy house type thing.
I just want a shaker. That's what I want to start with. I want to get a shaker. Let's get that. Let's get our FL folder.
And I continued to have problems, but I was determined to hold it together today.
And then it should be here. Where? I'm just sick of it, really. It's fine. It's fine. No, it's fine. So, to warp audio, I think this is easier than Logic. I literally go bang, bit to tempo. Yes, FL!
But the thing about success is it makes one overzealous.
Why don't we just record an egg shaker in? How do you record audio in? I don't know. That's one thing I don't actually know.
Baba Booey.
Oh, yeah! If I was to record in a loop, is it gonna... Wow!
And the more things I tried, the more awesome FL was seeming.
Yes. Oh my god, it does it. Take lanes, bitch!
The full featured trial wouldn't let me use all the features, so I couldn't quantize.
Why does it go when I drop it?
But that's okay, because I'm a power user now, and I'll figure out a workaround.
Bang! And just like that, we got a shaker loop that we recorded in, sliced up, and consolidated.
After getting the shaker sounding quite nice actually, with some insert effects and some return effects, one thing that I usually like doing with shakers is panning them left and right, and to do that in Ableton, I just duplicate the track, phase shift a little bit, and then pan one of them left and one of them right. But turns out it's not that simple in FL.
Oh my god, what? Why is audio not coming out of this? Wait. Even when I remove that, it's still coming out of that. What? So they're both going to the same output. Is that what's happening?
Even though I'm certain I linked each track to its own separate mixer track, I thought, okay, maybe I've messed up, so I went back in and reassigned one of them to the left mixer track.
So I turn both of them on.
And now they're both going to the left channel.
What? Is this going to 3 as well? No, it's not. So why is this? Am I going crazy? That is off. How is that playing? Is that like linked to that? So no matter where I put this, it'll always come out of there? It would appear so. Why?
So in a last-ditch effort, I thought, okay, maybe it's something to do with these recording tracks, Shaker Rec R and Shaker Recording, whatever. Let's get a completely brand new track which has nothing to do with these previous tracks and get a completely brand new mixer track. Surely then that will be separate and I'll be able to pan it to the other side.
I'll turn this off. It's always going in the same track! Oh! So no matter what I do, I can't route this one audio thing to multiple different tracks.
After getting off to a flying start this morning, I felt like I had been defeated. But then I had a brilliant idea.
What if I consolidate it? Does that technically count as a new recording? Time selection. Consolidate. Yes. Yes, that's exactly what I want to do. Okay, so all drums.
Use the trial mode, they say. You can do everything in the trial mode. It's got all the features. But there's just one little thing that you can't do. You just can't save your work. But you shouldn't need to do that. The software's not going to like crash or anything. You're not going to have to start from scratch again. Set up all the little things that you spent ages trying to do. Just use the trial mode.
So, we've got that, we've got our master, we've got all this shit. Let's get to 124. Make unique clip, yes. Buy FL Studio, no, cool. It's not gonna let me do that if I don't fucking buy FL Studio. Fuck you, FL Studio, I'm gonna do it myself. Done. Now, let's record. Nope. Why is it, don't crash again, 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 don't.
There was no going back. I bought it. I bought it. I bought it. I bought it. But that also meant that I was not going to be defeated. If I'm spending $300 on a software that I will never use, I don't care if I don't know how to use it. I'm going to make a tune in it if it is the last thing I do.
We're so on here. Now all I need to do is set up 14 more things. Audio track 1. Save it. Because you never know. If I might shit itself again. 289. Wonder why I called it that.
It's literally been an entire day in this software and I still haven't made more than a shaker. And I have been trying.
No! Force quit. Fuck off.
I think we're both getting sick of watching me do absolutely nothing. So let's make some music. I don't know how it happened, but I was somehow able to hold the idea that I had in my head at the beginning of the day all the way till now when I could actually kind of use FL. It was pretty clunky having to route everything every time, but I kind of just copped the worst production workflow I've ever had, because that was the only way I could do it. And I even started doing things that I would never do in Ableton, like using a sequencer. And within a couple hours, I had made something that actually sounded like music.
That was okay.
So I'm just bringing out one of the layers. And I want to go with something kind of obnoxious, something kind of in your face type sound.
So you kind of start with everything on piano and then start sort of slicing up the bits of the piano and assigning them to other instruments.
Exactly, yeah. So if I want an ARP, I'll just do it in the piano. Like that on top of it, and then I'll just like bring out the layers and everything afterwards.
I know that after 2 sessions in FL, I'm not going to be able to make anything that does Avicii justice. But his music soundtracked my childhood, and now that I'm inside this software, before I make my final judgment of it, I just wanted to have a go at playing Avicii. So after actually having done some setup and made myself a template set, I got cracking for the final test of FL.
Actually, Avicii wouldn't be doing this. He'd be in the piano roll.
And one thing that he would also be doing is writing his chords and melodies all in the exact same piano roll and then splitting them up afterwards. I find when I do it, it really helps the melodies and the chords and the bass line all work together better. As soon as I did split the stuff up and get them into synths, it started feeling so much more right.
Oh, this is Avicii as fuck.
I didn't want to move on to the drums until the melodic information was right. The chords had to be like sentimental but not too cheesy, and the synths had to be electronic but not too robotic. And then I had a fun idea of what I could add in here.
Get some acoustic guitar, maybe?
I couldn't play the chords clean enough in one go, so I decided to just split them up. And added the secret sauce Avicii processing, which obviously includes OTT. With most of the melodic information in, it was time for the drums and time to actually figure out a drop for this. As much as FL wanted me to use a sequencer for the drums, it's just not my style. And remember that very first ARP that we started with? It turned into something different entirely. Like I said, I really didn't want it to be robotic, so I spent ages getting the bending right. And after almost a full day of making music in a brand new software...
Okay. Okay. I think I made something. Oh my god. I haven't had one of these super long days in ages. This took me forever because there are just so many different things that I don't know how to do quickly, and I have to do a bunch of stuff and I just get confused by all the routing. Whatever! We have something. What the fuck? I made that in FL Studio! Wow! I think I actually learned this software. Unlike Logic.
So am I now Avicii? No. Will I be switching to FL Studio as my main DAW? Also no. But does that mean that this entire challenge was a waste of time? Maybe. Honestly, after making 2 things that actually sound like music in FL, I almost forgot about all the things that it did to me while I was using the trial mode. I didn't forget FL, I did not forget. After I bought FL Studio, I must have used it for upwards of 10 hours, and do you know how many times it crashed? once.
Foursquare, fuck off.
So call me a conspiracy theorist, but something tells me that they don't make the trial mode bulletproof for a reason. So cons. The whole underlying logic of the playlist view and the mixer and the arrangement and the patterns and all that. The whole idea that each of the lanes on the playlist view doesn't actually pertain to anything until you assign it, and that you can just throw whatever you want into each of them and they can go wherever they want in the mixer. I get that it sounds like it must have heaps of different possibilities, and maybe I just have a pea brain, but for me, I just want each separate lane to pertain to a mixer track, and I don't want to have to think about where this little fucking thing is going. When I drag in an audio clip onto a track, I want it to go to that track. So yeah, the whole pattern workflow is just, it's not for me. Maybe it's for you, it's not for me. And the second point I'm realizing is actually just the first one in disguise. It's all the setup you have to do with each of the different channels. When you're routing audio to a mixer track, you have to do that, and you have to, I'm sure power users have a way of having this be automatic, but I'm not a power user.
I'm a power user, bro.
I do have a couple other cons, but all of them are put to shame by the last con, which is the trial mode. They dress it up like, oh, you can use all the features of FL. Oh, not in my experience, but even if you could, it crashes all the time. And for a trial where you can't save your work, it really can't crash that much. But time for some pros, because I like being positive, as you might not have known. The piano roll is cool. It's really good. Being in there, I just feel like I'm about to cook. It feels great. Creating automation clips is cool, and I realize I am contradicting myself a little bit here, but being able to create automation clips for different parameters and different plugins and just have them all laid out, it's nice. Warping audio is easy, unlike Logic. And the final pro, I feel like I'm Avicii when I'm in there. Not going to name any names, but a lot of the DAWs out there can feel a little generic at times. But FL does not fall into that trap. It absolutely has character. And maybe it's just because I'm nostalgic for the 2010s and the EDM that came out of it. But when I'm in there, I feel like I'm about to have some fun and make something cool. So yeah, overall, what would I rate FL out of 10? 7 out of 10. But it loses points for the trial mode, so it gets 6. So the message is the same as the last time. If you know how to use your DAW, don't switch. There's no good reason, except for making stupid videos like this, which you probably don't do. Have a lovely day, make some great music, and I will see you next time, hopefully. Please click on another video, please.